Hello there everyone, this is Vice Admiral Trevelyan, and I'm here to do another little tutorial for STO, specifically another ground tutorial. I went through the basics a couple of weeks ago now, and I got a whole bunch of other videos loaded up, some of them STO related, but more of a space and general gameplay kind of look at things. But now I'm going to continue on where I sort of left off, where I started out my channel, which is basically to get you a little bit more situated on the ground game. And one of my viewers suggested I do a Borg STF tip thing, or if I can impart any information for that. And I thought, well, it'd be good for a video. And there's a little much to cover in terms of Borg STFs when you're writing stuff, so I think doing a quick video would probably not be a bad idea. So here we are right now. There's a lot of tips that I could go over that are specific to missions. Each Borg ground STF is a little bit different, and it would be entirely too long of a video if I went through every mission specifically to impart their secrets, at least on a single video. I suppose I could do that later on, but for right now I'm going to do general STF tips and tricks, and some of these things might help your general gameplay as well. You'll have to use some common sense to sort of filter out what's good for general gameplay and what's good for Borg gameplay, but in any event, here we go. The first tip that I have for you, and this one might be obvious, but then again, nothing is obvious, I've come to learn in life. The most vital thing you can have going into a Borg STF is a remodulator. Do not go into a ground STF of any difficulty without a remodulator equipped on your character, or bad things will happen. You can get a remodulator by going into your replicator tab. There's the part of your inventory where you can look at your money. You can also go to your replicator, your items and your money. You can go to your replicator tab from there in your inventory screen, and you can create a remodulator for free. There is no you can even create the remodulator in the mission itself. There is no reason for you not to have a remodulator, and if you do not have a remodulator, the Borg will adapt to all of your attacks except kinetic attacks, and you will not be able to hurt them. And that will be bad, because then they will kill you, because you won't be able to kill them, but they'll be quite easily able to kill you. So, always have a remodulator. Second thing is, and I think this is as important as a remodulator. I know there's going to be people who disagree with me on this, but that's okay. Never, ever, 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 ever minimize or ignore chat during an STF. Or sometimes I team speak with people, and if everybody's on TeamSpeak, then, the chat becomes less important. There's still instances where having chat is necessary, and if the person is talking to you via chat, make sure you read what he has to say, because sometimes he will say important stuff, or he or she will say important stuff, like, oh, this is a space STF example, but I'm in Kittimer Elite, and the probes are about to go through the gate, and I am in trouble, help. Or another Kittimer Space Elite example, oh, the Borg cube one-shotted me, and it's killing everybody on my side. Help, help, help. There's similar situations you could get yourself into on ground STFs. Having a way to say that to people is important, and also when they say that to you, and being able to respond to that's important. So never, ever ignore your chat, never, ever minimize it. This is something that you should do just out of a courtesy thing. There's in fact, back in Season 5 and Season 6 especially, it's gotten a little bit better as there's been more TeamSpeak adoption with STO in some areas, but if you ignore your chat, that is a very good way to make a lot of people really, really viscerally angry with you. So don't do it. Now there's some less vital tips that I think are still quite important, so I'll just mention them fairly quickly. First thing that is not absolutely vital, but I think is important, is always carry weapons of two different energy types. For example, you'll have one gun slotted in, it's an anti-proton weapon, and then you have another one, and then it's polaron or tetrion or something like that. And the reason you want to have that is whenever the Borg adapt to your weapon, they don't adapt to the weapon itself, they adapt to the energy type. So if you have two anti-proton weapons, and they adapt pure specific anti-proton damage, you have to remodulate right away, because at that point, both of your guns are useless. But if you have a gun that's a different energy type, say anti-proton and then polaron, you can switch out your AP gun, which has been adapted to, and then hit them again with your polaron for a little bit, so you can keep in the fight a little bit longer, and you don't have to worry about stuff. With items later on, like the Borg ground set instant remodulators that you'll get with your Borg reputation, that becomes a little bit less of a problem, but that's still a 10-second cooldown before you can use it again. So try to stay in the fight as long as you possibly can. Besides, it helps out your teammates if you can deliver as much firepower as you can to other Borg as quickly as possible. Another good alternative to having a secondary ranged weapon is to have a melee weapon. In some cases, it can be somewhat useless, and it is a little bit more risky than having two ranged weapons of a different energy type. But if you say you have a Fulchion or something with exposed exploit, you can do the expose attack on a Borg, and then when he goes into exploit, you can hit the exploit attack, and then you'll basically get a crit. So you can basically crit them pretty effectively with certain kinds of ground weapons. So that's something that you should not sneer at as well. And it also is impossible to resist. I mean, not impossible to resist, but it is impossible for the Borg to adapt to, getting stabbed repeatedly in the head. So so that's a good way, if you have no other really good alternative at the moment, to keep doing a fair amount of damage, especially if they're up close against you. Alternately, don't be afraid to pistol whip or rifle butt them as another melee weapon attack possibility. Another tip is to have a way to heal yourself or recharge your shield very quickly in an STF, and that could be a hypo, that could be a shield battery, or it could be a power. Like there's, I think the Mako set for the Federation has a hit your shield, hit this button to recharge your shield, like right now power, and that's very helpful. I mean, that's a helpful power even outside of STFs, and that's one reason I really like the non-adapted Mako set. But having the ability to do that will really save your bacon, because the Borg can and will do overwhelming damage to you, especially if you have other teammates which are going down. So make sure that you have a way to heal yourself whenever the situation becomes a bit warm. Also, make sure you have a weapon that has an exploit variable attached to it, either as primary or secondary fire, because during the course of a ground battle, it's inevitable that a Borg you're attacking will become exposed. That's when the little orange circle appears on its body. So when the orange circle appears, hit exploit and do a lot of damage to the Borg. I've been saved a lot of times by exposing and exploiting a particularly strong Borg, like a boss or an elite Borg, as much as I possibly can. Expose and exploit are your best friends in a Borg STF, I mean outside of your gear. So keep that in mind. Always make sure you have a means to exploit your target, so if somebody else exposes them, you can finish them off. Now, for information on specific missions or for information on specific enemies, always use STO Wiki. STO Wiki is your friend. Even for all aspects of the game, STO Wiki is your friend. You should go there, you should use it. Use it as much as you possibly can, and use it for strategies that involve specific Borg missions. There are some missions that are very difficult or impossible to complete unless you do very specific things, and the players have already discovered these very specific things and have added them to the wiki. So always read the wiki when in doubt. It will be your best friend. It will save you. I cannot stress this enough. SEO Wiki equals good equals win. Another thing that will help you survive these missions a little better is to always have regenerators on you. Now, you can have them on your person, but I found they can also work if they're in your character's bank. Not in your account bank, in that specific character's bank. You can take them from the bank. Well, not take them, but you'll be able to sort of instantly teleport them into your body from the bank. Don't ask me the physics and information on that, because I don't know how that would work in the middle of a combat situation. But if they're in your bank or inventory, certainly in your inventory, They will repair broken bones and stuff, and that is important because broken bones and other things will severely hamper your ability to kill Borg. So if you're going into an elite STF, always have regenerators available for you, because regenerators will save you. Another thing that you should do, or not do in this case, is do not be a lone wolf or glory hound during an STF. If you run off and try to kill everybody by yourself, first of all, you'll die really quickly. Second of all, you'll tick other people off. And third of all, if there are optional objectives to complete that you have not completed, you will lose those objectives in all likelihood. Especially on some STFs like Infected Ground, where if you run ahead of everybody, you will trigger things that will be bad for your optional objectives, and you will fail the mission. So, do not lone wolf or glory hound. But that does not necessarily mean, however, and this is a side role to that, this does not mean that you cannot go and do something independently of your team. Just do it to assist your team. I know that sounds sort of counter purposes to what I just said, but for example, in Infected Elite, what I do when Manus spawns or activates there is I hop onto the platform that they were on when they were shielded before you get access to them, and I fire at them from there. The reason being is A, I have physical protection from her attacks, so I can heal up a little bit if she gets a little fresh on me, and second of all, you'll have 3 or 4 people on the deck below firing at her, and they will distract her a little bit, and then she'll fly away from you, you'll heal up, and then you'll attack her from behind, and then you'll distract her from them. So I found that there's always some benefit to splitting up in an intelligent manner to help out your team win a mission, but don't do it to basically rush through something. Do it in an intelligent and coordinated manner, and you'll pretty much be able to distract any Borg you'll come up against, and that will equal big dividends at the end of the day. So anyway, that's about all the general information I have in terms of dealing with Borg STFs. I hope you found this helpful. If you guys are interested in any run-throughs of specific Borg STFs, or any STF or mission in general, I suppose that could be something we could arrange. If you have any suggestions, feel free to throw it into the comments section below. And that's about all I have to say on the matter right now. I'm Vice Admiral Trevelyan, and I hope you all have a great day. Thanks for watching this, and please check out my other STO videos, my Elite videos, and my Minecraft videos, and my every other kind of game videos. Thank you, and have a good day.